Hold the air. I see the subject inside. Looks like he's got a gun in his hand, and he's pointing at the clerk. Guys, I've got the south covered behind you. Watch the crossfire. Running southbound, Rob. He's coming right at you.
All units, Victor 3, Victor 5 are fighting with 1. Hold the air.
Victor 3, slow down. Subject in custody. Firearm recovered.
Copy that. Command clear. Subject is in custody for the robbery. Firearms recovered.
I'd been in the Metro Squad for 14 years, and 14 years of going to work at 8 or 9 in the morning and staying until 2 or 3 in the morning, sometimes coming back at 8 in the morning, getting warrants and stuff, you know. It was wearing on me, and it was wearing on my family.
Yeah.
And I told Sandy, you know what? The incumbent sheriff was in trouble politically. He had a lot of baggage, and he was going down by somebody.
Yep.
And I told Sandy, you know what? I think I want to run for sheriff. If I'm not successful at the sheriff run, I'm going to ask to go back to uniform and go to the post or something and do uniform stuff, so I don't have to work these ungodly hours. And she said, well, I'll support you on that. Well, so I ran for sheriff, got elected. You know who I ran against? You know who my first opponent was?
Who?
Jerry Mills, captain from LPD.
That's right.
No kidding.
That's right.
And it was my best election in terms of the politics that went with it. Yeah. We never had an argument, ever.
Ever.
We had many one-on-one debates.
Yep.
After the election, we went to 2 FBI conferences, roomed together. The rest of the elections after that were just fucking messes.
Just a dogfight.
People that run for it because it's part of their purpose, and there's people that run for it because it's part of their identity.
Yeah.
And there's a huge difference.
Yep, I agree.
There's a guy down in Florida that I absolutely love. What's his name?
Oh, gosh, what's his name?
The Polk County Sheriff.
Yeah, I see him on TV.
Just blows it up.
He's a picture of dumbass
man.
number 1 and dumbass number 2.
That guy is my spirit animal.
Yeah. Yeah, and he pushed through all that 2020 crap, right? When it was, hey, you know, if you're a white person in law enforcement and you talk anything about, you know, someone else, a minority, you're cooked. You're going to lose your job. No.
Well, that's the chief at East Lansing.
But they sucked her in.
They sucked her in.
And then all of a sudden,
you know, Kaz, we retired, a few years ago from working the street, 25 years apiece, and loved what we did, and how absolute, just over the moon exciting is this to have your 25 years and my 25 years. Our guest today has that. One guy has that total, man. Yeah. We've got 100 years of police experience in the room, 50 years from one guy. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on,
man. Yeah.
That is just jack beyond belief, man.
Yeah, this is why we started the podcast. We wanted to bring people in here and have meaningful conversations.
Damn right.
And today is no exception to that. So
you ain't lying.
In our studio today, we got Gene Wriggelsworth.
Come on, man. So we would love to hear how you started in policing. A 50-year career. We know that you were sheriff in Ingham County for 28 years. But take us to the beginning, man. Before you were even a cop, well, like how did things start for you?
I'm a rural kid, farm boy from Henderson, Michigan, north of Owasso. Grew up on a small dairy farm. Went to Owasso High School. Didn't know what I wanted to do after high school, but I'm dating my wife. And our senior year in high school, she moved from Owasso to Lansing, up in Groesbeck. Her family bought a house up there. They had a town. There's a bar in town called the Town Pump, and they bought that bar. So she's driving back and forth, and I had to come up here all the time to date her, obviously. Well, next door to her was a state police sergeant. His name was George Kraft, great man. And one day he came over and introduced himself to me, and hi, how you doing, kind of a thing. And he says, you're going to be a state trooper. I didn't know what a state trooper was. We didn't have state troopers in Owasso back then. We never seen one. I said, well, what do state troopers do? And he said, well, they're cops, you know? Oh, okay, fine. So he kind of planted that seed.
Yeah.
So fast forward, I get out of high school, kind of floundered around in various jobs and factories and stuff, and decided this isn't what I want to do the rest of my life. And the state police thing kept swinging around in my mind. Yeah, I'll go apply. So I went and applied. And the test, you had to, in order to get an interview, you had to score 75 or higher, or 70, I forget what it was now. But anyhow, I didn't. And so I don't get an interview. And so I asked the test taker guy, so does this mean I'm done? No, you can take it again in 3 weeks or a month or something like that.
Yeah.
And the questions they asked to me, I thought were ridiculous. For example, one of the questions they asked was, what's the difference between flammable and inflammable? It's burned into my brain from that test back in 1965.
You said burned in your brain.
Literally burned. Come on, man. That's what you do.
I love it.
Yeah.
That they would ask a silly question like that. But so I did a little homework next time to go in and take that test.
Yeah.
And I passed it with flying colors and got an interview and I got the job. Now, when I interviewed, the panel they had for the interview were 3 state police guys, and they were all in uniform, and it's intimidating if you've never been a cop. You know, these 3 guys in uniform there, and they're glaring at you. You know, and here's one of the questions they asked. I never forget this. So Wrigglesworth, you're out on patrol, and you stop a car for speed. Go up to the car, and it's a young woman, and she says, "What'd you stop me for?" And you tell her, "I stopped you for speeding." And she said, "Well, I wasn't speeding." "What do you do?" And I'm going, "Oh boy." I said, "Well, I guess I explained. I paced her, and in my opinion, she was speeding." She says, "No, I wasn't speeding." "What do you do?" And I said, "You know what? I've never been a police officer, and I'm going to assume you'll train me on how to handle that." Ended that line of questioning.
Good for you.
And I got in.
That's the right answer.
So,
the right answer.
So I'm dying to know, you know, to put you on the spot, tell us maybe something that sticks out from being a recruit in the MSP Recruit Academy or whatever they call it, because rumor has it nowadays MSP recruits aren't like the old timers. Nowadays, they're fanned while they're eating grapes.
Well, they do have air conditioning. Our recruit school was 110 guys.
Okay.
Guys, all white guys. There were no blacks, no women in the state police when I went in.
Oh,
This is
wow.
1966.
Okay.
Back at the old headquarters on Harrison Road, remember that?
Yes.
Well, there was a gym behind that headquarters, and we were all 110 of us in that gym. 3 showers, 3 toilets, 110 people.
Wow.
It was a test of endurance. And there were guys that you get up in the morning and there'd be an empty bunk. They'd just get up and leave in the middle of the night because they just couldn't put up with it. To me, I'm a farm kid. I grew up with cows and cow crap splashing on me and stuff. That stuff didn't bother me.
Yeah.
So you put up with that mental harassment is what I would call it.
Absolutely. Yes.
People screaming at you and standing at attention and that kind of stuff. And that was after, I think it was 12 weeks long back then, graduated. Back then, when you graduated from the academy, you were walked across the stage, and there used to be an armory down on South Washington where the new police was.
Yeah.
You remember that armory down there?
Yes.
Well, that's where I graduated from the academy. You walked across the stage, and they said, "Gene Wrigglesworth, Flat Rock." That's how you found out when you were going.
Oh, my gosh.
Report in 3 days.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, okay, now my wife now, we're due to be parents soon, within a month. We drive down there, and I mentioned to you, we walk in the front door, and there's these 2 salty old guys sitting there, and I introduce myself and my wife, and one guy says, "Wrigglesworth, if I were you, I wouldn't look for a house, because I don't think you're going to make it."
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
The first words out of his mouth.
Oh,
And I
man.
thought, oh, God. I thought somebody'd say, "Hey, welcome.
Yeah.
Nice
Sure.
to see you."
Yeah.
Not this guy. But as I said earlier, he was that like that until the day you got off probation, and then you were one of the guys.
Yep.
Treated like one of the guys. He just
Yeah.
that was his stick.
Yes.
Most of the guys were great guys. My assigned training officer was a guy by the name of Gordon Smith. God rest his soul. Was just a great guy. And my first ticket, as I mentioned earlier, write a ticket for no registration on I-75, and I write the ticket, he gives it to him, he goes up and gives it to them, comes back to the car, and he's looking over the copy that I got. He says, "You didn't put the license number on there." I said, "Well, it said no registration." He said, "That's the piece of paper. The registration is the thing on the..." So I'm very embarrassed. And So he puts the car in gear and we go screaming down I-75 and we go around this curve and here's this car pulled over with these 4 Yahoos in it, taking a case of beer out of their trunk. So we ended up getting an arrest out of this because of my stupidity.
Yeah, man. I love it.
So he was a great guy to work with, and I went down there with another recruit by the name of Mike Dyer. Mike was a great guy too, but Mike had 5 years, I think, with the Bay County Sheriff's Office. So he could have taught at the post. He's a veteran police officer. So we get our first evaluations back. He's got all the highest you can get. Mine are all acceptable, needs improvement, this kind of stuff. And to tell you the truth, it bothered me. And so Trooper Smith asked me what I thought about that. And I said, well, to tell you the truth, he got all these high things and I didn't do that well. And he said, well, you got some training to go through yet. But he said, you know the difference between you and him? And I said, what's that? And he says, you'll get better. He won't. And I thought to myself, this guy's a leader.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I did get better.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love your story, Sheriff, as far as it took me 2 rounds to get an interview. And when I did get hired in and I'm a recruit, I forgot to put the thing on the ticket and it was embarrassing. And it worked out great.
Yeah.
And then these other things, because I think so many times, man, when you and I were trainers, right? When field training, so many times it's like people expect themselves that they're going to pitch a perfect game.
Yeah.
And they forget, like, here you have someone super, super successful, was sheriff at Ingham County for 28 years, or to use yourself or myself, like, we had amazingly great careers to look back on. Super proud of where we came from and how we handled ourselves in the street. But it certainly didn't start that way.
No.
No.
Can't.
No.
It certainly didn't start that way.
Yeah,
like it's okay to stumble.
Yeah. 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 Because when you stumble and you want to get better, that means that you've got this thing called drive, right? And some people don't have that drive. They get there and they can academically perform and they can situationally perform, but they kind of cap out, like you're saying, and that's where their highest moment's going to be. But
Good as you're ever going to get, huh?
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're right.
Yeah.
Exactly right, Sheriff. Or what's worse is like some of the things that you described where you did get pushed back mentally or challenged mentally. And then you put a hard cap on yourself and you say, that's as far as I'm ever going to go. I'm never going to get any better than that because I don't like how uncomfortable that was. And I'm never going to get any better than that moment right there.
Yeah.
Boy, to put a hard line on yourself, don't stop there.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, and
For sure.
Anyway.
So you're working as a young troop and forgetting to put the plate number on.
Troopers love their tickets, bro.
Yeah. So you had a wrestling background, right? You wrestled?
I did wrestle in high school, yes,
Okay.
at Wausau High School.
So I personally think, and I've said this on previous podcasts, I think it's very, very intelligent for people that are seeking law enforcement careers to have some type of wrestling or some type of physical.
I was on the championship football team on Wausau as well.
some kind of contact where it's not unfamiliar when you have to grab somebody.
In the Metro squad, we had some people that had to be influenced, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a knockdown dragout.
No.
Wow.
But we always had a lot of people there, you know.
Right. Yes.
You'd bring 4 or 5 uniforms and you got 4 or 5
yeah.
Metro squad guys. So
Yeah.
it's a little overwhelming for the bad guy.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Which is a good thing.
It
If you
is a
get in
great
trouble
thing.
on the road, as you guys know,
Yep.
it's you and the other guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
for
When it's
sure.
one-on-one, to your credit of what you're describing, if I'm the bad guy and you're the officer, you're the trooper, and I have said I'm not going back to jail, and it's your job to get me in custody, and it's one-on-one, boy, you're going to have your hands full.
You are.
Right?
You always
but if it's,
do.
you always do. And it doesn't matter what your skill set is, you're going to have your hands full.
And you might win.
yes.
But it's going to be ugly.
It is going to be ugly.
And then nowadays, different when I was on the road, different maybe even when you guys were on the road. But nowadays, people got these phones with cameras in them.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
So it's a little different when you get in a fight. They don't see the first part. All
Yeah.
they see is
What
you
they
trying to get this guy under control,
Yeah.
and it makes it look bad.
And I think too the real problem with that, and you know, I'm sure in your time as sheriff, you know, dealing with the administrative side and the review side of everything, right? The problem that I have, and Kaz, you'll double down on this, I'm sure, but the problem is once it gets to your level as the administrator, you are sitting at a desk watching a video with a pause button. And that pause button is the kiss of death, because you inevitably, and I'm saying you as the collective you. I'm saying the world you, the people who are online, the people who are, we can stop this video that happened in real time and we can dissect it frame by frame by frame. And pretty soon we can have a full-on discussion. We can have a committee. We can take a vote even on, do we think that this is reasonable or not? We can have hours worth of discussion on something that took seconds, and we can dissect it frame by frame. And that's really, really, really tough, man.
Saw that in the Lions game Sunday.
Yeah, you ain't lying. you ain't lying. See what I did there?
Yes, we did.
So I love your example. Football, you and I diehard Lions fans, man.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But football is when I watch a football game, I think of being a street cop and I think of that body cam.
Yeah.
And I think of all of we're going to have this one sent to New York and they're going to make a ruling on it and we're going to challenge flag and we're going to stop this and we're going to go frame by frame by frame. Did the ball hit the ground? Is it a fumble? Was it an interception? Well, we can go as long as it takes and we can analyze this.
But I got to see it in real time.
And you didn't have a pause button.
Yeah. Yeah.
This unfolded. Typically, if it's something like that with policing, it exploded, right? And you don't have a whistle to call timeout. You certainly don't have a pause button, and that's really, it's really hard when you have someone with a camera phone that's recording something, and now we're able to dissect that. To your credit, that's really, really tough for the cops that are trying to do their best.
It is. We had tell you another little war story. We got sent to a house down by New Boston. It's a little town down in southern Wayne County. And this woman had got some pornography mailed to her. Now, this was a big deal back in those days. And so we get there, and there's me and my training officer. And I look like I do in that picture. I look pretty green, right?
Yeah.
Walk up to the door, and she looks at me, and she looks at him, and she looks at me, and she says to him, "You can see this. He can't."
He's too young.
Yeah, I'm too young.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow. What a great story.
I had never held a handgun till I went into the academy. I mean, I just didn't know much about police work. I was as green as you can get.
So,
right. And I love that.
You got sent to Detroit pretty damn early in your career, and then I think at that time you got sent to Detroit, some stuff was happening, like at the riots.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I can. Let me back up just a little bit, though.
Yeah,
when I told my parents, I had a job. I was working at Chevrolet in Flint, making about $3,000 a year or more than I would start at the state police. But I couldn't take it anymore. And I told my parents, I'm going to quit this job and go to the state police. And my dad says, "What if you don't make it?" And I was devastated that my dad would say, "Have I ever failed at anything, Dad?" They'd have had to carry me out of there in a casket before I'd have quit that academy just because of what he said. So getting to the riot. So the day of the riot was a Sunday. The Detroit Police Department had raided a Blind Pig, which is an after-hours drinking establishment. And that's what precipitated the riot.
Yeah.
So I get a call at home. I'd work midnights, get a call home, and they said, "Grab your riot helmet, your riot stick. You're going to Detroit." All right. So I grab my stuff. I go down to the post. Or 4 of us loading a police car, and we head up to Detroit. 7 days later, we came home. Nobody had a change of clothes. We wore exactly the same duds that we had when we headed down there. Slept in the back of patrol cars, and there's some pictures I showed you there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was... But the thing was, you didn't want to miss it. And there was like 6 guys that got left back at post 25 was Flat Rock. They got left behind, and they were just crushed. They didn't get to go to the riot because we were having all the fun, so to speak. You know?
Right. I mean,
but we had, although I never got hit, we had got shot at. There's one picture in that riot book there. We're all kind of crouched behind a car. We're at the bivouac area. We go out on patrol. and all of a sudden, bing, and a bullet bounces off one of the cars. So I think it's about as close as I ever come to is getting shot at in the riot, although there were a lot of bullets flying, but they didn't fly at me.
Wow. Man. So it was
Unreal.
just complete chaos in the city
It was
of
a
Detroit.
week of chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd say go to 12th and Linwood was a big hot area during the riot. Go to 12th and Linwood, report of a sniper. So you get there, and the first thing you do is the first guy out of the car would take out a shotgun and shoot all of the streetlights out. So you weren't illuminated.
Really?
Well, it happened every time. Every time we got sent somewhere, bam, bam, bam.
Oh man!
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was the paperwork?
Unbelievable.
That's what I'm. What was
Great
the
question.
paperwork?
Great question.
Well, I mean, did you have to do paperwork for discharging your firearm? It was just riot rules.
Never.
Not Detroit riots in '67.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God, there'd been too many reports.
Right.
They still be reading
Wow.
them. Yeah. So at what point, where was MSP not required or needed in the city of Detroit? Like when?
It's about a week before they sent most of us home. I don't think they sent everybody home, but our squad out of Flat Rock got sent home after we were there 7 days.
So this squad that you worked on, was it people you weren't familiar with? They were just grabbed from all over the state?
How they did it was there were 4 cars, 4 state police cars with 4 guys in each car. Each car was driven by a state police officer, a Detroit police officer, because they knew their way around the city. So they chauffeured us around, and they go to 12th and Linwood, and we'd all come swooping in there and do whatever we had to do.
Yeah.
And I showed you a picture of a house there where we actually had a tank come. We get a call of a sniper at this house, and the house was actually quite a nice looking house, as you could see from that picture I showed you. A nice looking house. Wasn't in the crappy area of town, but it was in the riot area. And this guy's shooting a gun out of it, and you could tell it was a 22. I mean, I hunted with 22s as a kid, so I knew what it was. And he isn't coming out. And we don't have body armor or anything back then. I mean, this is something you guys got to have, but we didn't have that back then. So we called the guard, National Guard, and next thing, I said, you could feel the street shaking, and here comes this tank. And it was something to see. The treads are taller than my head.
Holy.
And this little soldier sticks his head out, and he's got a helmet on. He says, "How can I help you, trooper?" And you hear ping, and this guy shot at this tank, and he bounced one off the side of this tank. Well, it was a mistake.
I'd say so.
That's assault on the queen.
He had a 50 caliber machine gun on her and just sprayed that house with that 50. And then the guy came out.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What was left of the house?
Dude,
Not much left of the house, huh?
Well, it banged it up pretty bad on the front. Now, what's interesting to me was if you looked at those pictures, some of those bullets went through the glass, and they didn't break the glass. They just put a hole in it. There's such a fast, that 50 caliber moves so fast, it's just like,
So wait a minute. When did you start using body armor?
Oh man,
We didn't have body armor when I was in the department, and I left in '88.
yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Oh no, dude.
Other
It
departments
was early '90s or early mid '90s before LPD had the availability of body armor. I remember.
I never knew that.
I remember going on a ride along with my dad, and it was optional to have body armor. And I was 15, 16 years old, right? And my dad putting body armor on, and he was one of the very few that had it in the department. And he told me the story, and I don't want to mess up the details, but basically there was a gang in Lansing, and they had shot at the police and this and that, and it was a big deal. And so he ended up getting body armor and was putting it on. It was like, wow, you're one of the guys that got body armor. Holy smokes. Like, it was a big deal.
I used to be president of the Troopers Association, and we had a conference, and this guy that owned the Second Chance Company, which was a Michigan company back then, brings this body armor to put on a demonstration in front of all these troopers.
Okay.
So he puts this thing on, and he says, "Now I'm going to take this gun and I'm going to shoot myself with it." And I thought to myself, I am not going to watch this. And I got up and went out of the room. I just knew this guy was going to kill himself. But he took a 357 Magnum, held it up like that, bam, touched it off. And of course, we're in a conference room, and it made a hell of a racket. Takes it off. There's the bullet stuck in that vest. He's got a bruise in his sternum like that.
Holy smokes.
Didn't kill him.
That's putting your money where your mouth is, Jack. Can you imagine saying, like,
Can you imagine PR departments now?
Oh, can you
What
imagine?
in the... Yeah. Wow. A 357, no less.
Right.
Man.
I'd be like,
that dude had some stones.
listen, man. I'd be like, better yet, you shoot me.
Yeah. That took
Make
some,
sure you
that
got
took
your
some-
license insurance paid up, right?
Oh, man, you ain't
smoke.
kidding.
So you
Can
worked your
imagine?
entire MSP career without body armor.
That's correct. I went back to the road, did stuff that you guys did on the road,
Yeah.
stop cars, arrest people, those
Yep.
kind of things. And then one night on patrol, working midnights, and there was some radio traffic. I wasn't paying attention. I was handwriting a report. My partner says, you just got transferred to Lansing. Lansing? Good, because here's the thing in the state police is they would tell you when you're at a post for 2 years, you're supposed to write a letter telling them, because they had a 2-year transfer policy. You can't stay at a first post more than 2 years.
Okay.
Write a letter listing 8 possibilities, first to last pick. So I'm trying to think how these people think at headquarters.
Yeah.
So my last pick was East Lansing. Guess what I got? My last pick.
Yeah. Oh man.
So that kind of worked out.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's crazy that you say that because we've heard troopers that we know
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to go to Marquette, so Marquette is my first pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
true to this
I think
day.
there's some truth
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
Now they've
That's
changed
hilarious.
things a lot because I don't think they have that 2-year transfer policy anymore now.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you a few weeks before you get assigned a post in the academy where you're going to go, so you can make arrangements, and you're not going down there the day. You got to report to find
Yeah.
a place to live. Those kind of things.
Right.
So they've figured it out.
Sure.
Yeah, you know what's cool, Sheriff, is what Rob and I got to experience towards the tail end of our career at LPD. I know when I started at LPD, the culture was, LPD and MSP, they just didn't get along, right? So if the Blue Goose came into the city cops were going to be upset, and there was always this tension, and I knew it was a real thing when I first hired on, but I didn't have enough police experience where I needed to pay attention to it. I needed to figure out how to be a cop and find my way. We get on the VCI, the violent crime team, and we start to work with the secured city policing through MSP. And I can say without a doubt that relationship between MSP and LPD was one of the best improvements in the last 20 years that this department, in my opinion, has experienced. Because finally, we got rid of that ridiculous notion that we're all on the same team. And we're all trying to accomplish the same things. And egos, our egos, we know we all have them. But when it comes to service and when it comes to doing police work the right way, when you're able to work, because we work with guys from the county, we worked with guys from MSP, we worked from guys from East Lansing, this blended team, all working towards the same thing. It was nice to see that old way of doing things kind of dissolve.
If you're getting your butt kicked, if you're in a blue uniform, for example, and I was a trooper,
Yeah.
and you need help, and you see a brown shirt come over and pull this guy off you, you're pretty damn glad that
Yeah,
that
that's
guy's
right,
there.
for sure.
And I found out real quickly when I got assigned to the Metro Squad. I was blessed. I was blessed to be there as a state police guy and get to work with the best of the best from local law enforcement.
Yeah.
I mean, it changed my opinion.
Yep.
And I just can't say enough about working with local law enforcement because,
Yeah.
like you said, we're all the same.
All the same.
We carry a gun, just a little different location in the city or the state or wherever we
Yep.
are.
Yep. And it just corrects, or it allows, like, I think one of the most important things in law enforcement is communication, right? If you're working on a case, because we'll get into to your history with Trico. I loved being a dope cop. I absolutely loved it because that's where I leveled up, so to speak, where I started to have a relationship with our prosecutor, started to have a relationship with people that were involved in the Fed system, trying to understand, okay, it's cool to go out and be a UC and grow your hair out and get the big beard and learn how to buy dope and the slang and everything like that. But when you start to really get good at this thing, you start to make cases, and those cases are large in volume, and now you're removing entire organizations from your community, and that's impactful. And I know that you experienced that because how many years did you have working in Trico?
14.
14 years on a narcotics team. Yeah.
My partner, Paul Whitford, worked at 16 years.
16 years. So you went in as a officer, right?
I went in as a sergeant. And I got promoted to lieutenant while I was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Story that goes with that, when I was a trooper, I got sent to an accident in 96 in Saginaw. And I get there, and Ingham County's got a car there. And there was a little bit of this between the deps and the troopers. And this deputy's good guy. We became pretty good friends. Says, hey, Wrigglesworth, beat you to this one.
Yeah, man.
How can I help you? So I go direct traffic while he's doing his stuff, you know.
Yep.
So we go our separate directions. He goes on his way. Well, about 10 minutes later, I get a call. Go to M100 in Saginaw. There's an Eaton County car in a wreck there. So I get there, and it's that same deputy. And I says, hey, you beat me to this one, too.
hey, it's a no parking zone.
Wow.
Oh, shoot, man. That's good.
So as a sergeant on the narcotics team, you actually purchased and were buying? Okay.
Yeah, sergeants bought drugs.
Yeah. Wow. For us, for the local team, it's a little different. It was a little different. You know, we'd have a sergeant in there. We had a lieutenant, and then we had the PO1s. And typically the groundwork, the UC stuff ran through the PO1s.
Well, for the most part, that was the way it was in Metro. However, we didn't have enough talent that we could exclude, for example, a sergeant from buying drugs if the need came up.
Right.
And
yeah.
particularly in an area like Lansing, it's a pretty big city, but still people get to know who the cops are.
Real quick.
And so you sometimes need a fresh face and that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So you worked through the crack pandemic.
Part of it.
Part of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
part of it. We were buying crack, but not to the volume that it got to be later.
Later, yeah, because it was. I mean, that was a wild time. In
Yeah, it
drug
was.
history.
It was the Wild West.
Yeah, yeah. So, what was your first deal? Do you remember your first deal? Were you, you know what I mean?
Where I bought?
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned this earlier. Where I was buying marijuana off a guy down in Jackson County, and he kept telling me that he could get like 10,000 hits of speed, methamphetamine, and he finally was able to put it together. And so we decided we'd just bust him and take him off to jail. So I don't know, we had to have $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, whatever it was. He had a pile of drugs he wanted to sell to us. So we go down there, meet him at his house, and it was an old schoolhouse. I remember this, and it was a dump. And he gives me the drugs, I give him the money, and he's on his hands and knees, he's counting that money. And the code word to bust was, Gene's going to like this. So I say, well, Gene's going to like this. Yeah, he is. He's counting money. Yeah. And the next thing you hear is his dog barks. And it was like, he knew somebody was out there. And I pull out my gun and stuck it in his face. This is Don, you're under arrest. And he blinked. He paused for a minute. He says, Gene, how could you do this to me? And I thought, ultimate compliment, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Your cover was perfect.
Fooled him. My friend Joe Mottman, he's buying drugs off a house right here in the city, and the body transmitter picks up sounds, right? Well, he decides he's got to go to the bathroom.
That's right.
So we hear these disgusting sounds, and you think to yourself, Joe, turn the body transmitter on.
You got to go. You got to go.
And next thing you hear is, hey, you got any toilet paper out there? We're all falling out of our cars, laughing, honking our horns and stuff.
So he's trying to buy drugs undercover, and nature calls, and now he's got to go.
And he's all over the meter.
And he's all over the transmitter
The poor drug
to the
dealer
cops
didn't have any
outside.
toilet paper.
Oh my gosh. So, man, if there's anybody that we would love to shout out is Doughboy. Man.
Yeah, Doughboy.
Joel Moutman was so when we hired on, he was sergeant, and then I think he got promoted to lieutenant very quickly after we hired on. But as a boss, my goodness gracious, he was old school to the bone as just the street cop that never let it get away from him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I remember as a punishment, he made a couple of guys walk the beat downtown in the wintertime.
Yep.
And that was just unheard of.
Well, you know, he worked for me too, as a major at the sheriff's office.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recognize his talents.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
He had that same driven mentality. You know, the one you talk about when, okay, I'm in the academy and these guys are washing out because they can't handle this. They're going to have to, pull me out of here on a gurney. Doughboy was the same way.
Well, he was probably the hardest working guy I ever had in the Metro Squad, and I'll tell you this story. He's down there not a long time, maybe 6 months, still pretty new.
Yeah.
And we'd been working 7 days a week, 14, 16-hour days, and it gets old in a hurry, particularly if you got wife and kid at home and stuff that goes on in life,
Yep.
So he comes into me on a Friday afternoon. He says, "Hey, boss," he says, "I got a deal set up for tomorrow. It's 4 kilos of cocaine coming into town." I said, "No, we're not doing it." "What do you mean?" "We're not doing one more deal this week.
Yeah.
Put it off the next week." "I don't care." But I said, "I can't work these guys to death. They got to go home."
Yeah.
But that's the way he was. So he put it off until Monday, and we did it anyhow.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Joel, being Joel, he had the line up. And, yeah. So what are you guys going to do tonight? And he looked at me, and me and Jeff Renarski were Boston unit. And we were, call takers and traffic stoppers. You know what I mean? We worked the felon list a little bit. But we didn't write tickets. And Doughboy was like, "Hey, you guys are a little dry in the ticket department." And he would roast us every lineup. So Jeff and I got the idea, okay, listen, 2 to 5ers, that's a ticket. So we waited till 2:01 and we wrote tickets to the tune of I think 102 tickets that night. Came in and we spread them out like a buy bus money all over the Joel comes in and we got 100 tickets and he's like, "That's what I'm talking about, boys."
Oh my God.
We ticketed the mayor. We ticketed. I mean, there was a guy who had a note on the car saying, "Please don't ticket my car.
Transmission's out."
Transmission's
man.
out.
That's
He got a
right.
ticket. And I'm like, "Joel," I said, "I can't do this ticket thing. It just doesn't fall within
do you remember what year that was?
Oh my God, it was.
Oh gosh.
The reason I say that is, remember in the area we had a big flood here down by Potter's Park
Yeah.
many years ago, and there was water up to the eaves of many of those houses along Kalamazoo Street there, and LPD had this 9 to 5 or whatever, this 2 to 5,
2 to
whatever.
5.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
2 to 5?
5, yeah.
Ticket thing, and apparently the troops were getting reamed for not writing enough tickets. Well, people couldn't even drive down their street, so they're parked up and down the area that's flooded.
Yeah.
Everybody got a ticket.
Oh jeez.
And I guess it was a storm.
Oh, I bet it was. I bet it was.
Yeah, in this business, timing is everything.
There's that.
Timing is everything.
There is that.
Yeah.
So man, I love Mottman to death, and I know you do too. And we work for that guy. And before I was even hired at Lansing PD, right? Because my dad hired in 72 and retired in 98. I came in 99. So in the gap before I hired on, my dad would because I knew as a kid, man, I was gonna be a cop. I was gonna follow my dad's footsteps, and I loved it, right? And so my dad would screen who was working and be like, "You got to go on a ride along with Dave Dahlke or Darren Dusso or these just all stars of their day," and to the tune of, "You got to go with," at the time, Sergeant Mottman.
Yeah.
And my dad warned me, he's like, "The sergeants aren't going to be out there stopping cars and this and that, but they are going to make the hot calls."
Yeah.
And so you're going to have a good time, you know? So here I am riding along I don't know how old I was, 16, 17, somewhere in there. And there was a call of an armed robbery at the Quality Dairy, Lake Lansing and Larch.
Yeah.
The description was the dude had on a black jacket with the Detroit Pistons logo, like the basketball, like the Detroit Pistons logo on it. That was the armed robbery suspect. Left in a vehicle, whatever. So we're Sergeant Mottman at the time. We're at Grand River and Pennsylvania. Stopped at a light. Here's the car. The car at opposite intersection has a green light. It won't move because they see the patrol car and they're scared to hit the gas, right? And the passenger door opens and this guy leans out and throws up in the street. Okay, like that's a clue. I don't know where you come from, Sheriff. I don't know where you come from, Sheriff. But in our world, that's a clue, right? So this dude throws up, and I'm like, "Did you see that guy? He just threw up." And he goes, "This is gonna get good, man. Hang on." So they finally go, and we get behind him, and Sergeant Mottman, turns the lights on. They pull over, and Sergeant Mottman gets up there, and I'm in the patrol car as a ride along, 16-year-old kid. Right, and Sergeant Mottman says, "All right, everybody, get out of this car." And I'm in the squad car watching this, and out comes from the passenger seat Detroit Pistons coat with the logo on it, and I'm like, "Shit, there he is!" Right, and Sergeant Mottman sees what I see. Oh shit, that's the guy, and he says, "All right, everybody, back in the car."
Yeah,
but the dude won't get in the car.
Yeah.
And he takes off running. Well, he runs towards me as the ride along in the patrol car. And just, bro, I'm not gonna lie, man. Instinct kicked in. This dude's running. He runs right by me. I kicked the door open as a 16, 17-year-old kid. And I could flat ass fly in them days, bro. And I laid this dude down at about 20 steps or less. Tackle him down. And of course, the whole world is coming, and they get this guy in custody. So if you have a chance to ask Doughboy, now Lieutenant Mottman, Sergeant Mottman back in the day, hey, when did 16, 17-year-old Forbes kid get that armed robbery guy for you? Because he wasn't going to catch anybody in a foot chase at that point. You know what I mean? He needed me to catch him for him. Yeah. But there was no, hey, go get that guy about it. It was.
That's a good story.
It was. I'll see you later.
And Joel had no problem with it.
No problem with it. He, bro. Thankfully, I mean, oh my gosh.
You should have gotten an award.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, nobody got hurt. I didn't get hurt. The guy didn't get. No, there was none of that.
Yeah.
But man, can you imagine now?
Was he the guy?
You're right along. It was the guy. It was 100% the guy. They did the whole show up, the whole thing. It was the guy. That's where we came from with Sergeant and then Lieutenant Mottman. Yeah. But he never left the street, man. No. And God, we loved him for it. Yeah. God dang.
So he worked on your squad.
Yeah, he worked for me in the Metro Squad for 3 years, maybe.
Oh, wow.
2 or 3 years. However, I can't remember how long Lansing cops, they rotated them through a lot.
Yeah, 3 years.
The list I had there. So.
3 years. So the whole 3 years, you're probably trying to reel him in.
You had to keep a short rope on him sometimes.
Yeah.
But that was a good thing from the perspective that he just wanted to work.
That's right.
So were you were coming from the road as a sergeant when you went into Trico as a sergeant, or got promoted to?
I got promoted in 1973 to sergeant, and back then we had nobody assigned to the Metro Narcotics Squad. This is a good story too.
Yeah.
So I'm assigned to Team 1 in the state police, had narcotics teams throughout the state. I was Team 1. We did everything north of Lansing. Everything north of Lansing.
All the way to the top.
All the way to the UP.
Holy Moses.
And I saw the bridge so many times it makes me want to throw up now.
Oh, my goodness.
So late in 1974, 74, been there about a year, we're doing a deal in Lansing, up on the north side of town.
Okay.
And actually right in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we keep seeing this car drive around the block. And it looked like one of the deputies from Ingham County. Well, sure enough, he was one of the Tri-County Metro guys. So one of our guys went and flagged down. So what are you guys doing? We're doing a deal in that house right there. So are we.
Oh, shit.
No. That's how people get hurt.
Yeah. That's how people get hurt.
So that was the impetus for MSP getting involved in Tri-County Metro. So, I don't know, it took a month or so before we actually got assigned down there, but the captain at MSP wanted to know who was interested, and the only two people who were interested were myself and Paul Whitford. I would love not to have to drive to the UP anymore.
Yeah.
And so we got assigned here, and 14 years later, I was gone.
Wow.
I'll tell you a funny story about going up the UP. A couple of them, actually. One is we got sent up there to the little town called Detour. I don't know if you know where that is, but you go up to the bridge and turn right. And you go down several miles, and there's a little town and a little thumb of water that's on the lake. The sheriff up there had called MSP and said, we got a problem in this bar with drug dealing. Can you guys take a look? Yeah. So we go up there, the crew of 5 guys, 5 cars, drive all the way up there. Get up there, and we go in this bar. And it's a redneck bar. We walk in and they look at us like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
We didn't buy any drugs in that bar. But we did get hooked up with a drug dealer at another town. And we're going to make this buy. And he says, well, I got to go pick it up. So, all right, I'll go pick it up. Well, it's on the other side of the bridge. So we're surveilling him, and get to the bridge, and he pays his toll. Well, I ain't paying no toll. I'm work for the state. I tin the toll taker. He says, he looks at it. He says, that'll be $3.50. He didn't care who I was or who I worked for.
That's right.
We were paying a toll like everybody else.
Yeah.
And so we all paid our toll, and we go down by, I think, Charlevoix is where we were, and go down this 2-track road, and there's a trailer back there where we're making this buy off of, and we finally get ready to bust the guy. Well, I don't know if you ever raided very many trailers, but the doors swing out.
Yeah.
You can't kick them in. They're steel. You can't kick a trailer door in.
Oh.
So we finally begged the guy to open it up, and he let us in. Took him off to jail. But
Open this up. We're going to hook up our pickup to it. We're going to drive you to jail.
Wow. For me, it was hard, like to leave that behind. Was it the same for you? Like,
well, what I missed was, it's the same thing leaving the sheriff's office. What I missed was the people, working with the people and their weddings and their babies being born and the stuff the human part of it. I missed that a lot.
Yeah.
And I got to know, my office was at LPD's up on the 5th floor for 6 or 7 years.
okay.
So I knew all was LPD cops, the detectives, the chief's office was just down the hall. You just, you felt part of the team, you know.
The camaraderie.
And then later on, we got moved down to number 4 fire station on South Penn. And we were down in the basement there for a number of years. So we got to know the firefighters pretty well.
Yeah.
And then we ended up, when I left the Metro Squad, we were up on north side of town. Can't think of the name of that street now, but there was an old city office up there that they moved Metro in.
Okay.
They found some vacant spot to kind of kick us down the road kind of a thing.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
We were in there till I left. And then they got moved around. They've been moved around several times since then.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense, right? If you're a trooper, you get out of the academy and you're basically working the road. And then you get on this team and then you build friendships and then you build this camaraderie and it's wildly addictive. Like it is. I was fortunate enough to go cycle through drug teams 3 times in my career. The second time my wife was like, okay, you had fun the first time. She said, please tell me
you know
you're
what
going
it's
to be
like.
a little less that the second time around. I said, promise. And I reeled it in a little bit, you know what I mean? And then the third time came around and she didn't even blink an eye. She's like, go have fun. And that's actually when I had a chance to work on Trico for the first time. So I was able to work our team twice. And
Who was the lieutenant when you were down there?
Lager and Pinup.
See, I didn't know those guys.
Yeah, they were great. They were great. I had a good time. I ended up leaving a little early and coming back to Lansing because I had an opportunity to work the violent crime team, and I didn't want to miss that because I'd done it before already too. So, but that camaraderie component that you're describing,
huge. Well, like I said, my office was on the 5th floor of LPD for years.
Yeah,
and we'd do a press release, and they would read in the paper, Lieutenant Gene Wriggelsworth of the Lansing Police Department.
Sure.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah. So did you ever, for me, I can remember, like, I think it was the second time I came out of the SOS team for LPD, where I really started to realize, okay, this thing isn't going to last forever. You know what I mean? Like you almost have that oh wow moment. Like I've been here 17 years now, and I'll be gone in 8 more years, and you know, is there an opportunity to get on the band again? And then we got on VCI, and it was just one of the best ways for me to just kind of like start to put the landing gear down, because you just wired. Once you get out of these units, you're specialized. You kind of acquire this
part
ability.
of your personality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you look at people differently. You communicate with people. You're always trying to negotiate. You know, when I was first a young cop, it wasn't negotiation. It was just, what's the law? Did you violate it? You're going to jail. Well, I was missing out on a ton of relationships there with victims and sometimes the accused, you know. hey, we can work something out here, if we talk together the right way. So that the whole idea of just taking what's so regimented in the beginning and then kind of finding your way a little softer in your approach opens up so many doors.
Well, I showed the list of officers that rotated through there from the Metro Squad from Lansing. It was a huge number of people that I got to know very, very well. But the theory was, and I think there's some credence to it, is you keep them in there maybe 2 or 3 years, because if you keep them in there much longer, they get that a little bit better than the guys working the road. And I don't want to do that anymore. And it kind of spoils them for the uniform thing.
Yeah.
And I think there's some of that. Now, some of the guys made the adjustment well. Like I say, if I'd have been there any longer, I'd have gone back to uniform.
So did you ever go back to the water cooler at your old spot with the sheriff star on your shoulder and say, there's a new sheriff in town? Because I know I would.
And then I won in November, in the November general election. And fortunately, the undersheriff, Elliot Moore, God rest his soul, but Elliot Moore was there. And he helped the transition.
Yeah.
Because we needed some help. We didn't know anything going on there, Of
course.
So you needed some help
Yep.
on where the skeletons were buried, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So I started going in there maybe 1 day a week, something like that, just so the people could get used to seeing me and things like that. My predecessor was a guy that kept his finger on everything. If you wanted a bullet, you had to go see the sheriff.
Yeah. Yeah.
What sheriff has time to do that?
No kidding.
Right.
We had a big vault in my office, about half the size of this room, and it had guns and bullets and stuff like that in it that he issued. And so I asked somebody, why is this stuff in here?
Yeah.
And they said, well, the old man wanted it like that. I said, get it out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not issuing bullets. I'm not doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at my desk one day, and lieutenant from the jail comes up, and he says, hey, boss, he said, I got a semi-truck out in the parking lot here loaded with new mattresses for the jail. Where do you want to put them? And I'm thinking to myself, they're asking the sheriff where to put mattresses in the jail. And I said, well, Lieutenant, if I have to make that decision, I don't need you. And that's what he did. He went, I'm going to like working for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You know what? When you said that, the first thing that came to my mind was there was a very similar, and I can't tell you the context, but I was reading autobiography about Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, revolutionized the car industry or whatever.
Yeah.
And they asked Henry Ford in some kind of news conference, very, very similar to what you described, Sheriff, as far as they gave him some obscure, like, algebra equation or something like that. And you know what he said? Very similar to what you described, man, is I've got 19 people that I can put on that that can get you that answer. It doesn't need to be me. I don't need to be the magic. I don't need to know everything.
That's exactly right.
I don't need to know everything.
Hire good people and let them do their job.
Damn straight.
So
Damn straight.
you were leaving this micromanaged environment, and you were starting to. So what would you how far into your being sheriff do you feel like, or what was your driving message as the boss, right? As the sheriff, like when did you realize, okay, this is the message that I want my people to know about Gene Wriggelsworth? Like when did your brand? Because for us, when we hired on, I knew the Wrigglesworth name was synonymous with the brand for the county. Like, like this guy has all the experience. He's consistent. He's purposeful. I mean, I knew that as a cub from just your last name. And I went to the academy with your son, Mark. So, even talking with him, I mean, I don't know how you did it, but all your boys, when you talk to them, it's very clear that they're guys that give a damn. Like, you just know it as soon as you start talking to them. They just give a damn.
We have good boys.
Yeah, they give a damn, and you can tell that whatever they do, they're gonna, whether they're talking about their wife, their kids, law enforcement, whatever, they just give a damn. And I think that's what Wrigglesworth means from the outside.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, you give a damn.
There certainly are people out there that probably don't hold me in quite that high esteem, but
Right.
Probably
Well,
because they got crosswise with me too.
Yeah, yeah, but I know what you did in your tenure as sheriff. So when did you know that this was my brand and this is what how did you get rid of all that micromanagement?
Well, it took a little bit.
Sure.
Maybe a year, maybe a year and a half, where the key to me at an organization like LPD or Ingham County, that's a fairly good sized organization. The key to leadership is your sergeants. If sergeants don't feel empowered, you got a problem.
Oh.
You've got a problem, and it'll start there, because if you've got a sergeant that hunts and fishes with the deputy, and the deputy does something wrong, and the sergeant won't do anything, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And so we made it clear: you put that stuff on your collar, we're going to empower you to do your job. You better do your job, because if you don't, somebody with more collar stuff on their collar is going to do you.
Yep.
And I think they learned to trust us, that that's what we would do. And not that it was perfect. I mean, we're dealing with people, and you get people problems. But for the most part, they responded well.
Yeah.
They had a talented group of people there that weren't allowed to use their talent.
Oh man, I couldn't agree with you more. You ain't lying. Larry Klaus. Did you know Larry Klaus?
Oh yeah, Larry's a friend of mine.
Love
Good guy.
Larry Klaus. Worked for him he was one of my lieutenants on the dope team. He said, my purpose as lieutenant is to find the talent that's on this team and to let them find their way.
Damn right.
Not to tell them what to do, how to do it. We've got a group of people. Let's figure out where your strong points are, and let's just navigate through your experience on this team.
Is he still up at Mount Pleasant?
I believe he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my gosh.
The same thing you're saying. You know, let's find your strengths, and let's work this thing like a team.
Yep.
Yeah. As the mouthpiece, right? The person that everyone's going to look to, right? As sheriff, the public speaking side of it, right? You know, nowadays we're so concerned about saying the wrong thing and being canceled, and law enforcement people are this or that. How did you navigate your public speaking where you felt like you could say what you wanted to say, but still, you know, being not pissed off? Because your son came in here and remember when Scott said words matter?
That's right.
Yeah, there was something he got pissed, and he went in front of the camera and he said words matter, and there was a hell of a lot of views on Facebook.
You're talking about the media thing that
Yeah,
you did?
yeah, and I was really like, yeah,
He was right.
That needed to be said, and he said it. How did you navigate around all the potholes?
Well, not to say I didn't step in one occasionally. I mean, I think everybody does.
Everybody does. You're dang right.
But I think just my upbringing, my philosophy, the training officers that I worked with, just gave me the resources that I need to navigate those kind of things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to pick your words. They do matter.
Yes, they do.
But I guess it was just a combination of my upbringing that put me to the point where I was.
Yeah.
I had great parents.
Yep. That's a nice thing to have, right?
No, my dad was a taskmaster.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. Grew up on a farm, baled hay, did all that kind of stuff. We had 2-day football practices. Mm-hmm. I'd come home from the first practice, bale 500 bales of hay, and then go back for the one in the afternoon while the city boys are laying around the pool.
Oh, man.
So I graduated high school, and my best friend, Bill Pike, he's still my best friend, says, hey, let's go up to the UP and visit my grandpa and grandma in Marquette. All right, let's go. So I get my bags packed, and my dad comes up and he says, hey, by the way, we're baling hay this afternoon. I says, I can't. I said, I'm going up to Marquette with Bill. And he says, okay, you can go with Bill, but you're paying rent when you come home. What time we baling hay?
Let's get to baling.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
that was my dad.
That's right.
He was a farmer, and you made hay with the sunshine, and that's, and I get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So it just followed you throughout your whole career.
But you know what we've had so many wonderful guests in here, and a really kind of a common theme of what we've heard from them is policing was a calling for them. Policing was something that was like a tractor beam that pulled them in. And we forget so many times that's not the only track. Like for me, I felt called. I watched my dad do it and I was about it. right? And it's fascinating to hear you say, because a lot of times we have people in here and it's like, unless you're called, maybe this isn't for you. You were a kid that was on a dairy farm, and here it is. You're sheriff at Ingham County Sheriff's Office for 28 years, had a 50-year career between Michigan State Police and the Ingham County Sheriff's Office. Top dog for all these years, did it right, ton of respect, and you were a dairy farmer. Hard work pays off, does it not?
Lord works in mysterious ways, right?
Yeah, that's
right.
for sure. And it didn't stop, in my opinion, Sheriff. Like, I think
That's a great point, guys.
I think your legacy is still there, and I think the tax base in Ingham County supported that when they put that beautiful jail up, and that jail's got your name stamped right on the front of that thing.
Come on, man.
There's a story that goes with that is when they put the name on there. I knew nothing about the name.
Yeah.
My birthday, which is November 7th, Scott calls up my wife and says, "Hey, I want to take you and Dad out to dinner tonight." All right. So we go driving down and we go by the new jail and look at, holy crap, my name's on the side of that. You know?
Sure
That's
is.
what he wanted me to see it, you know?
It sure
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Man,
That was
oh,
neat.
man.
But you start from the dairy farm. You work your way through MSP. You find your way. You learn the secrets of camaraderie and consistency, and then you become the sheriff. And I mean, when you're at MSP, you're thrown into the fire in Detroit. I mean, all this stuff just becomes this unflappable brand. And I hated that old jail. God, I hated that when I transported people there. And then when I started hearing the new place was going to get built, currently I work with the Michigan Department of Corrections, so I go over to the building all the time. The staff, phenomenal. The administrators, phenomenal. Of course, we hold Bauk and Southworth in very, very high regard. It's just, I think what you've done, right, when you talked about that seed that was planted by that guy before you became, you planted a whole field of it, bro.
Yeah, he did.
You did. You put it out there, and it's still growing. And if there's any truth to you reap what you sow, I have to thank you for that, because you sowed some amazing.
Well, I appreciate your kind words, but
I mean that, though.
I've been blessed in a lot of respects by a good support pass, my staff, the Mottmans of the world, that thing. My training officer, Gordon Smith, certainly had helped form me into what I am today. But most importantly, my wife.
You bet.
Nice.
I took her down to Flat Rock. Brand new baby was born after we'd been there a couple of weeks. She knows nobody. She's got no support group down there. She was a lonely, lonely person. And finally she got her sea legs down there, and they had a Troopers Wives Club and stuff, and she got involved in that. But she was always supportive. Get transferred to Lansing, and that was a godsend, because her mother still lived here. So she had that support group. So that part of it was good for us. Mm-hmm. And then told you about when I decided to run for sheriff, and she says, do it, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Who could ask for any more?
Right.
So let's land on your wife and kids for just a minute here, Sheriff. Your wife, Sandy, been married 60 years?
60 years.
60 years.
Congratulations.
Come on, man.
61 this year, actually.
Yeah.
61 years. So Kaz and I know, being street cops, family is left in the dust a lot of nights, man.
They are.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. And it takes a toll.
It does.
It takes a toll. So
Divorce is high in police work.
you ain't kidding.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's a real thing.
Yeah, I think I think you have to remember who your family is.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, if it hadn't worked out, I'd have gone back to Norm, just because I felt like I was abandoning my family.
Yeah.
Although Sandy was always supportive and never complained, it was just something that bothered me. Mm-hmm. And the boys, they all did well. They gravitated towards police work, as you know.
Yep.
But I think sitting around the dinner table, as I said, and listening to Dad tell war stories has an effect on young men, as you know.
Of course. You know it. Absolutely.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this book I wrote, I told this ghost author I was using, I said, you know, I wasn't sure I wanted to do it. I said, what I'm going to tell you is what cops sit around a bar or a dinner table and tell war stories.
Yeah.
And she says, Gene, the best movies and TV shows are made about what you did for a living. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so let's talk about the book.
Let's talk about the book,
Yeah,
man.
so-
Oh man,
so
how
you-
exciting is this? 50 years of duty.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And I think when we first started talking about it, I was so surprised when you said it was one of the easiest things you've ever done.
You can't take him seriously, Sheriff.
I used to have hair for
So I've heard right. The book thing is a very, very tedious process.
It's very trying. Now,
Yeah.
I had a ghostwriter by the name of Cindy Chosick, and Cindy's from down by Chicago, one of the
Yeah.
small burgs by Chicago. Lovely, lovely lady. And she come up and spent, I don't know, 3 or 4 days with us at our house. And she set up this machine, and she just let me go. And I went through a lot of these books,
Yep.
just talking in this machine. It's a recording device
Yeah.
that transcribes.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
So she doesn't have to sit on and type all this stuff. Now, it has to be edited because some of the words don't
course.
get translated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that process actually went pretty well. But then the editing afterwards and stuff was just very, very time consuming. It's, I don't know, close to 400-page book.
Wow.
And that's because there's a lot of pictures in it. And something you learn when you write a book is the more pictures you have, the more it costs to print them.
So little sneak preview right here.
Preview.
50 years of duty.
Man. Look
Young Gene and old Gene.
There you go.
Yeah.
Man.
So
50
you are
years.
having a book signing, right?
We
Coming
are.
up? Okay.
We're going to have a book signing down at Bestsellers in Mason. They've graciously told us we could use their place for a couple hours coming up next month.
Okay.
And
December 12th.
Yes.
Right? December 12th.
Yep.
At Booksellers in Mason.
Bestsellers,
Bestsellers. Okay.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
Okay.
That's the plan today, anyhow. So
Yeah.
we'll,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely be there for
Yeah,
sure.
we'll be there.
Yeah.
And what I think is the most important piece of the puzzle here is it's easy for us to only think of Sheriff Gene Wriggelsworth from how we knew you behind the podium at the sheriff's office speaking to the media or having a press conference or whatever. We had no idea you were a farmer's kid on a dairy farm and state champion wrestler and all this stuff. Like the career that you had, the on-ramp that you got to sheriff is what this book is about. And ultimately that is the most fascinating piece about it. Like it's crazy to see the end of somebody's body of work, but what the road that got you there,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Jimmy Carter was a peanut farmer. You just
right.
don't know where you're going to go.
Just
you know?
don't
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
That's true.
Right attitude. Stay committal. Be intentional.
Yep.
Maybe. You know what? I'm gonna put a shed up in my backyard with my name on it.
Yeah. You're gonna name it the instead of the Gene Wrigglesworth Training Complex, it's gonna say the John Cosme what?
Garden
Outhouse.
shed.
Garden.
I'll hire some people
Yeah,
part time.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
I
I
can
don't-
see it now.
Yeah, I don't think I got enough capital to hire a full timer.
Hilarious, man. We've talked a lot about the some of the landing spots in your career, between MSP and the sheriff's office and this and that. Tell us about some of the harder places that you've been as either as an MSP or a sheriff. Like for me, the first thing that sticks out, well, really two things that stick out. So number one, when Lansing Police had a helicopter, my dad was the pilot of Air 80 that went down, and Officer Dean Whitehead was killed in that accident, in that helicopter
Remember it.
crash. My dad was the pilot of that.
He's in the book.
Is he really?
Dean is. I knew Dean.
Yeah. So I say that because I can feel, although I'm not Dean Whitehead's immediate family, I saw the impact of that very close to home because of how it affected my dad and how it affected me through that experience. Now, you as sheriff, when you lose someone in the line of duty, take us down that road, man.
Well, I lost 2 deputies while I was working. First one was Sergeant Paul Cole. Sergeant Cole was responding to a domestic situation down Columbia Road, going pretty fast. I don't know how fast he was going, but heard a deer ran in front of him. He swerved a little bit, but he was going fast enough that caused the car to start going sideways and hit the only tree in a line of trees, in a fence row, hit the only tree, and it kind of wrapped the car around it, and it killed him on the spot. I never forget, I didn't feel that I could delegate notifying his wife that this is what happened. I felt that that's a responsibility of the old man, right?
Yeah.
And it's not easy. I don't care who it is. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So I go to their house at, I don't know, 2 or 3 in the morning, and dreading it, bang on the door, and I could see a light. They had a 2-story house. See a light come on, and so I know somebody heard it.
Yeah.
And I can hear steps coming down the steps. I can hear feet coming down the steps, which ended right by the front door. So I can hear thump, 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 thump.
Yeah.
And then nothing. And it seemed like forever, but it was probably just a few moments. But she told me later, she said, and I looked out the door, out that window and saw you stand there, I knew what it was.
Oh, man.
She said, I knew what it was. And that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And the sad part about that one was Paul's son, Paul, was at a sleepover at a neighbor's house. We had to do it twice.
Oh,
And it was very, very difficult. Now, Kathy, as a result, became a leader in the My Cops organization.
you bet.
And did a lot of good things to help families that suffer losses in the line of duty. Still does.
Yep.
And then fast forward a few years later, Grant Whitaker, another deputy, got killed chasing a bad guy, and he loses control out in rural Ingham County, and he hit a tree. Hit it so hard that the motor blew right out of the car.
Oh,
and
man.
he never got to hit his brakes or anything. And he only got killed maybe a mile or so from his parents' house where he grew up. Again, it's 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I go bang on the door, and it was just before Christmas, I think December 16th, maybe, something like that. Unbeknownst to me, they didn't use the front door of the house. It had Christmas lights around it and so on, so the door didn't open. So they're trying to come out the door and let me in, and it was awkward because the wires were in the way, but they finally forced the door open. And I think, again, they knew this was not good to see me standing there.
Oh, man.
And I told them, I said, there's been a terrible accident just down the road here. Your son lost control of the car and he's passed away. And Mrs. Whitaker, she kind of blinked and she said, could you repeat that? I'm not grasping what you're telling me here. I mean, it just was like, this can't be true. That's how it came across. I mean, those things are very hard. It's etched in my brain.
Yeah.
As it should be, quite frankly.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are 2 pretty career-defining moments in anybody's career.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, though, a testament to who you are, Sheriff, because you grabbed that by the by the horns, and you chose to take that.
We had
that
a couple
responsibility.
of incidents in the Metro Squad. I mentioned earlier, I think, about Dick Courtwright got shot. That was interesting because we had a lot of cops there, and fortunately Dick didn't get killed, but he had to be pensioned off because it did damage to his nerves in his leg. And then a few years later, Patty Novak from East Lansing Police got shot up on the May Street, I think it was, up in that area anyhow. And it was an apartment up steps where you go up these steps on the outside of a house, and she kicks the door down, and this guy's on the other side of the door, one-arm Chuck, and he only had one arm.
Oh, man.
And he shoots her right there, right in the forehead, right at the hairline. But it was a cap and ball revolver, and it was a real slow-moving bullet. And that bullet traversed her under her scalp, but above her skull, followed the outline of her skull, and exited out the back of her head.
Oh, my goodness.
She goes down. He shoots her again. This time he shoots her in the leg, and the bullet, I can't remember if he shot her in the butt and it went down her leg or shot her in the leg and went up the butt, but that was the one that caused her the problem. And I told her later, I said, you're the hardest-headed woman I know. Get shot in the head and the leg shot that hurt you.
Yeah.
And she had some nerve damage that took her a while, but she finally was 100% and she got back to work.
She went back
Tough
to work.
gal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tough gal.
Wow.
And we found that bullet that hit her head. It went out through the window of that second-story house, and we found it in the eave trough.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it spent itself.
Wow.
Listen, man, that's in a little jar of formaldehyde on my mantle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That happens to me. We're
Yeah,
that's on a
man.
keychain, something, dude.
You remember
Holy
Tim
smokes.
Poxon?
Yeah, yeah.
Tim was the sergeant at the scene when this happened. Of course, it's chaotic when somebody gets shot.
Of course.
And Tim tells the Lansing uniform guy, I can't tell you who it was now, but tells him, cuff this guy and take him back to jail. Well, he's only got one arm.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yeah. This is not in the brochure as a
Puts
recruit.
a cuff on him. It's like,
Yeah, where do you go with this?
That's right. That's right.
I've had one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had
man.
one of those?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I had my wife for the very first ride along ever, right? And I'm gonna show her what's up, and I'm out there doing my thing, and it's a PRT, and the guy's a 5'5", a $145 wet. So I'm like, sit back and enjoy the show, mama. So I get up, and we're flying all over the place. I can't get this guy in handcuffs. He's got one arm. We're going over the hood. It took everything I had to get this little squirrel in that one handcuff, and then I ended up handcuffing him to the back of his pants. And I got in the car, I looked at my wife, I'm like, don't say anything, please. We drove all the way to the jail, and she's looking at me like, what was that? Dude. Yeah.
Oh, man.
He was just superhuman.
but I mean,
with
the things like that story right there
Yeah.
is just what makes police work fun.
It
I think.
is,
yeah.
Every day is different.
Every day's different.
Every
is
day
different.
is different. Yeah.
Yeah, and,
Some
and
days
you-
it's terrifying. Some days you're bored to death. I mean,
right.
that's just the way it is.
That's the way it
Right.
is.
But the return on investment is what sparked my soul. Like when I got into this job, it's like, whoa, like we're really responsible for altering violence and altering people's lives, improving communities. And along the way, we're gonna get our elbows dirty. We're gonna drive our cars kind of quick, so, fast with the overheads. We're just gonna be like, little superheroes flying around the city. It's unmatched as far as I'm.
Well, you younger guys, I should say, had it a little easier than we had back in the old days because when I got into police work, there were no domestic violence laws. So if we went to a family fight and we didn't see it happen, it's a misdemeanor not committing your presence. You can't arrest it. You can have a woman with her teeth knocked out,
Yeah.
but you didn't see it happen. What are you going to do?
Wow.
So what you did was, and usually the husband's drunk,
Yeah.
is you would goad him in, take a swing at you. Then you'd cup him up, take him off. I never forget, we got this one guy, and he was just being a butt, drunk.
Yeah.
And he says to my partner, you had the badge on, I'd kick your ass. Mm-hmm. Partner says, really? Takes it off, sticks it in his pocket. Well, he had that gun on. Takes his gun off.
Oh, shit. I love this. Absolutely.
He almost gets him down to his underwear, and finally the guy takes a swing at him, and he went off to jail.
Oh, my gosh. Absolutely.
You didn't have the boots on.
If you were in your underwear and flip flops,
Yeah.
oh my
yeah.
gosh, I love it.
That's great.
I love it.
We had one a similar domestic case, Christmas Eve, up by Wacusta. When I was a trooper, the guy had beat the crap out of his wife, busted teeth, the Christmas tree's knocked over, 3 little rugrats, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old crying. It's just a mess. Just a mess. But we didn't see it happen, right?
Yeah.
So again, we goad this guy into taking a swing at us and cart him off to jail. Now she's mad at us.
Yeah. That is the business we're in.
That is the
Yeah.
business.
That is
we're
the
in.
business.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't. So, Sheriff, as we wrap this up, and we're super proud that you're here and sharing your opportunity to write the book, 50 Years of Duty, through your experience of between MSP and Ingham County Sheriff and your whole bookends of your career over 50 years. With all that experience, we always ask our guests the same question as we wrap up here, which is, if you, with all your experience, were going to talk to someone that was brand new, maybe it's the brand new cop, maybe just right out of the academy, or maybe the cop that's been doing it a year or so and just starting to get traction, what would you like to tell them from your lens as you see the world from 50 years of duty?
Well, probably a couple of things. One would be is follow your training. It's so important that they give you training for a reason. Follow that. But the other thing is know your policies of your department. So many people will go into a job and don't know the policy about this, that, there. We've had veteran officers say, you can't do that. Why can't I? Our policy says you can't do that. Those kind of things. I think if you get those things down well, your training, your policies, there's no reason you can't have a successful career.
Well, Sheriff, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate you coming in
ever.
and sharing this time with you. We're going to do everything we can to promote your book. Can't wait to read it.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was a privilege. Like I said, it's almost surreal to me because
It is.
we started our career. We saw you as sheriff through most of our career, and then now here we are talking to you in studio.
Yeah,
thank
man.
you.
Appreciate
this
the
was
time.
very interesting.
Yeah.
You guys do a nice job. You've got it down.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks. We
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
it.
I appreciate you. 50 years of duty right there.
there we
Gene
go.
Wriggelsworth, Sheriff of Ingham County. Come on, man. My man. Thank you. Thank you.